Hey everyone. So you may have heard on TikTok people talking about the sugar method to grow your bones, to get more bone mass in the face, to grow taller, to grow wider, right? I hope none of you are falling for this because it's an absolute joke, but I'm going to show you why it is an absolute joke and why it's actually bullshit. Because people are actually, like Nocturnal Ken, for example, people are actually selling you course on telling you to eat a bunch of sugar to hit your face to bone smash, right? To actually cause bone growth. They're just lying to you. These people took exogenous hormones. There's no doubt about it. They took exogenous hormones to ascend. That's really the only way you can increase bone mass to that extent. And these people are selling you a course on bone smashing, sugar eating, and so on. They're scamming you. They're telling you absolute cope. It's just, they're laughing in your face, right? People actually fall for this. They're making you really unhealthy also, so let's get into it. So all this is based on okay, this is Nocturnal Kent. Let me just watch. Let's just watch this, all right?
IGF-1 state by consuming sugar at the same time as bone smashing. Every time you consume sugar, insulin rises. IGF-1 is insulin growth factor 1. You do it at the same time, that IGF-1 acts as the transport carrier.
Okay, so he says you consume sugar, insulin goes up, then IGF-1 goes up, right? Which is true. Okay, you have a GH release from the pituitary that goes to the liver to be to synthesize IGF-1. Then insulin goes in, and then you release the IGF-1, right? And I think Oscar Patel, Just Patel, also promoted this. He said like do sprints to increase growth hormone, even though it just increases it as a stress response to grow, like to fix the damage and so on, to adapt to the stress, and which is so dumb. And consume fruit after and honey and whatnot, which is also very stupid. So so when you consume sugar, exogenous sugar, your insulin's going to spike because your blood sugar is going to spike. Your blood sugar is going to spike, then your pancreas is going to overshoot insulin because the sugar is very glycating. It's very damaging when it's above baseline. So insulin spikes and drops very quickly, which is going to spike IGF-1 and drop IGF-1 very quickly, right? But if you're eating high protein meals, you're going to have a stable insulin bump and a stable and consistent IGF-1 level. We can see here amino acids from dietary proteins stimulate pancreatic nutrient sensors. This causes the secretion of insulin and glucagon. So let's go to this study right here. Okay, let's go to this study. So, effect of a high protein diet on ghrelin, growth hormone, and insulin like growth factor 1 and binding proteins 1 and 3 in subjects with type 2 diabetes. So, they developed a diet which lowers plasma glucose, consisting of 30% carbs, 30% protein, and 40% fat, right? So, this is referred to as a low biologically available glucose diet, which is it's not really. It's pretty high carb, to be honest, in my opinion. But the diet resulted in approximately a 30% increase in fasting insulin-like growth factor. So we can see here, there's actually a stable increase in IGF-1 when you lower carbs in the diet and you increase the protein in the diet, right? And of course, the mechanism is speculatory, whether it's from ghrelin, whether it's from actual amino acids, but the fact is, you can have high IGF-1 when you have more protein, when you have lower carbs in the diet. So taking carbs out of the diet is not going to affect your bone growth, your development. Carbs, exogenous carbs, are not required at any stage of life after infancy. You produce the right amount through gluconeogenesis, a stable amount, about the teaspoon you need at all times is produced, and any more than that is damaging and unnecessary. So yeah, that's why the sugar method is bullshit. I hope none of you fell for it. But now it's debunked, so yeah.